Hello, this is Richard. I'm at apartment 6 on the first floor, third door on the right, in apartment building 1 Carroll Avenue, Yonkers, New York, which on the city of Yonkers map seems to be listed as 622 South Broadway. I don't remember the parcel number, but it's in my writings and papers. And I'm in the bathroom in my apartment. And this is the pipe that the heat goes in my apartment if and when there's heat being produced. And I can hold this pipe 10 minutes ago because there was no heat coming through it. But now at this time in the morning, I think I'll look at whatever time this is on the internet live. There's finally heat coming through. 2 or 3 minutes ago, when I first came in here and touched it, I could hold it without leaving go of it. Now I can't hold it because there's heat coming through it. And I contend that Patrick Lusko is incorrect in his diagnosis of what the problem has been in this apartment to not have heat here. There's nothing surrounding this pipe, but from 12 midnight, 6 a.m., there's never heat coming through this pipe. Very seldom, if 1 or 2 nights during the whole winter, when the laws that Mr. Patrick Lusko gave me a copy of that tell when heat is required to be given here, they say there should be heat. But the landlord, what seems to be the landlady, Mrs. McBain, Marion McBain, she has said to me publicly, not publicly, but in public spaces, I heard her say, I don't have to put heat in the building between 12 and midnight and that time because nobody here cares in the building, that she implied that, whether I give heat or not. They're all happy. Nobody complains about it except you. And we don't give you heat because you don't pay rent. But as you see on the documents, in this apartment, there's a 3-way lease, or at least there's a 3-way agreement. The lease is the lease space is based upon. The landlord is supposed to maintain a habitable apartment, and then she gets the money from Section 8. And apparently, according to Mr. Michael Linker, who was my attorney who represented me in previous cases with this landlord, where the issue was over whether or not I had paid this $6,000 of rent, which wasn't due from me to them, but from the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program, housing authority of the city of Yonkers, employees of the city of Yonkers. They didn't pay that money because in April 5th of 18, Liz Perez, the inspector for their company, McWright, who gets paid to do the inspecting, said there were problems in the apartment that the landlord had to fix. And then when they would come and re-inspect it, then if it was correct, from the landlord's point of view, then the landlord would receive the money owed to them, that the money that was being withheld from being paid to them because they didn't provide me with an apartment that met the requirements of the agreement that Section 8 has and enforces, supposedly through these inspections of McWright. But what McWright does here, and has done for the last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, there's error in them. There is reasons why I, as a tenant living here, that instead of providing me with a habitable place to benefit me, the tenants of the Section 8, they have this scheme of inspecting that I believe this case is evidence of this entire case and the parts of it, so that the tenant is sort of like the dog, or the tenant doesn't matter, because for all the years that we've been inspected here, passed or failed or temporarily, the process, it's always been that the building, the apartment didn't have things correct until the 2 days before the inspection came from Section 8. And the super would come in, having to do with words like clutter, which apparently are technical terms, other terms also, which are technical, and which, as a layperson, and as not a person who's a professional, who knows how and what a building or apartment should look according to the quote unquote law, clutter doesn't mean the same thing to me as what it means to them. Because 1 year, this apartment was fine, but there was a little pile of dirt that I hadn't swept up with when they came in, the inspectors, who came in with an attitude that they sort of didn't want to pass me, it seemed to me. They said, oh, this is debris, clutter and debris, and then they failed me. Now, this is how the inspection works, place about is health-wise or otherwise. They pay no mind or attention to that. What they do is demand that if I'm not here or someone isn't, at one point when in the last 3 years, when I was in early walk, I had to leave the nursing home and come to this apartment